Let's practice setting up a file to create a poster for something that we want to advertise. I'm going to click New File, and I'm going to change my unit of measurement to inches. Because I'm printing this on normal size paper, I'm going to make that 8.5 inches by 11 inches. Make sure to title your design, and we'll call this Poster for Event. I'm going to go ahead and choose Create, so I have my sheet of paper in front of me. In Photoshop, we have a variety of tools on the left side of our screen. Those tools impact how we work with images, vector images, raster graphics, and other components of our designs. Notice if I hover over the different tools, there are quick videos to tell me how they work. You will use these videos to help you understand the various tools as you are learning the different components of Photoshop. A couple tools we want to make sure we know. The Move tool, which allows us to grab and move things on our screen. If we scoot down further on our toolbar, we see the Shape tool. If we click and hold that, it gives us a choice of many different shapes or objects we can place on our design. We also have a Custom Shape option, which if we click, we can go to our options bar here at the top of the screen and choose the custom shape that we would like to use. Take some time now, click the Shape tool, choose Custom Shape, and I want you to practice drawing a couple different shapes on your page. Now, I've drawn a couple different shapes, and of course, they're not exactly what I want to see. I'm going to take my cursor, move back to the Move tool, click to select, and now I'm going to go to my Layers panel, all the way on the right side of my screen. Notice that each shape I drew now has a layer that Photoshop created. Layers work just like stacking objects. Whatever layer is at the topmost part of your Layers panel will be at the top of your paper. So if I hide my shapes, you can see the giraffe, which is our first layer, is below the elephant, which is our second layer. If I use my Move tool to put the elephant near the giraffe, you can see that it is indeed overlapping the giraffe. The same goes for my palm tree and my other tree. Whatever layer is on top will be the layer that is closest or in the foreground to your viewer. So now I want to do a couple things to change this image around. I want the trees to be in the background. I'm going to grab that individual layer and drag it above the layer of the trees. This way, I'm letting Photoshop know that no matter where I move my giraffe and my elephant, I want them in front of the trees. Now I'm going to go ahead and click the layer of the tree to move that layer. So my layer is selected. I'm going to go ahead over and I'm going to move this tree up more on my screen. I want the tree to be bigger. So what I can do is I can press Command T. When I press Command T, notice that a transformation box appears around that layer. A transformation box has several handles that allow you to resize the object. If we grab from the corner and we drag outward, we're resizing the object in scale. Notice how the object does not look like it's manipulated, but instead enlarged, both in the width and height. I'm going to press check to keep that transformation. All these little dots inside of my image are ways that I can actually grab. So that isn't what that is. Okay. Now I'm going to press Command Z and undo. I want to show you one more time. If I press Command T, but this time I only drag from an edge instead of a corner. Nope, it does work the same way. Interesting. That's a cool change they did. Okay. Undo. Okay. I'm going to press Command T with that tree layer selected, and I'm going to drag outward to resize that tree. I'm going to press the checkbox in my options bar, and now I know that the tree is resized. I'm going to go ahead and move it to where I want it on my page. Now, I'm going to click the palm tree, and I'm going to grab that palm tree and move it down. I'm going to press Command T and resize it, and press the check mark in my options box or enter. I'm going to move this second tree down more so it's a little bit more out of the way and not overlapping, and adjust my palm tree. Now I can grab my elephant and move the elephant. I can press Command T if I'd like to make it larger, and grab my giraffe and move my giraffe. My objects are a little hard to see, so what I can do is click the layer to change the appearance. I'll find the Appearance dropdown underneath of Properties in the panels to my right. If I don't see that panel, I can go to my window menu and make sure that it is checked and showing me it is turned on. The Properties panel is checked. If it wasn't, I wouldn't see it here, and all I would need to do is go to Window and click Properties. Now I want to change the color of my objects. I'm going to choose the elephant layer, and under Appearance, click Fill, which is the color that is filling our object. I'm going to pick a different color that I want my object to be. I can choose from the drop-down lists that exist, or I can use my color picker just like I used the one above to change the color to something I want. I can move the slider to pick a new color and hue, and then I can move around in the hue to pick different shades, tints, and tones. I want the elephant to have more of a gray look, so I picked my color and hit OK. Notice now that the elephant is gray. I can do the same thing with my giraffe. I clicked the layer, I'm clicking Fill, and I'm going to use my color picker to find a color that better fits the giraffe. Once I find that color, I'll hit OK to recolor the giraffe. Now I have 4 layers that I created with my shape tool, and each layer I can edit by clicking to edit different components. If I want to add a horizon line or make this more, what is the word I'm looking for? Realistic. Make this more realistic, I could move my trees upward and go back to my shape tool and use the line tool to create a simple horizon line. When I draw that horizon line, I can move that layer below everything else so all my other objects will fall on top of that line. If I draw a line, I can click the line layer, and again under Appearance, choose a different color. So since this is the ground, I'm going to try to find some type of brown to add to it. I can also choose the stroke weight, or just how thick that line is that I drew. Notice if I increase that weight, lies. What just happened to that? Oh, it's my fault. Still not doing it. Ugh, stupid changes. Ah, there we go. Why is it being so funky? Okay. If I select that layer with the line, I can change the fill color the outline color, as well as the thickness or stroke weight of the line in pixels. Notice now my line is at 30 pixels, which makes it thicker. If I were to create this image just as it is, I could export it for Adobe After Effects to then animate in the program because I've created simple shapes that I am able to adjust. Now, use the Shape tool and your knowledge of the Appearance panel and Layers panel to create an 8.5 by 11 inch design that has at least 10 shapes that you have placed on the page, added new colors, and used at least one line in the design as well. Now that I've created my 10 shapes on my page, added color, and changed how they look, I'm going to go ahead and add my text to this poster design. If you look on the left side of your screen, at your toolbar, you'll see the Type tool. Click it once, and it will change your cursor to look like a box with the cursor inside. That's to create your ledger line for your text. If you click once, it'll give you a line to type on. And press check in the options bar. Or if you click and drag, you can create a text box. Text boxes are useful because you can adjust them and resize them much more easier. I'm going to delete both those texts so I can start with a fresh text box by clicking the text tool. I'm going to drag across the top. So this practice poster is for a jungle themed event. I'm going to type inside my text box, visit the jungle. My text is very small for the space I have. If I press Command A inside of my text box, notice that it highlights the text for me to adjust. Now I can go up to my options bar at the top of my window, change the font size, change the font size, font style, font color, and the alignment. I can also do some of these things in my panels on the right side. I'm going to go ahead with my font highlighted. I'm going to pick a different font that might fit my theme a little bit better. I'm going to change the color and use my color picker to sample the blue I already have on my page. Notice that my cursor changed to an eyedropper, and now I can pick the same color that I chose before. I'm going to press OK, and now I've changed the color. Now with my font still highlighted, now with my text still highlighted, I'm going to change the text size and adjust my text box to fit the letters that now are too large. Notice at the moment, I can't see the third word because my text has fallen into 2 lines. If I drag the bottom of my text box, I now can see it. This is where you could make the choice to adjust your font size, or if you wanted to have it on 2 lines, you could center it, right align, or keep it left aligned. I'm going to keep this font left aligned right now and press the check mark in my options bar. Now I'm going to use the Move tool to adjust where my font is a little bit more on the screen. And I'm going to go into my layers and find the tree on the left side and move it up a little bit more so it falls behind the text. If I Well, to remove this text, I can go into my Layers panel, select the layer, and again, find the different options here on the right side of my screen, or by double-clicking the T in my Layers panel, I can select that text, and I can, again, bring up my options bar and press the check mark when I am done. Go ahead to your design now and add a title to the page. When you're done adding 10 shapes and a title, go ahead and press Command S to save. And we're going to save it on our computer. And we're going to save it on our computer. So we open our dialog box. We're going to go to our desktop by scrolling in our left-hand side of the Finder. And of course, finding our name on our desktop and putting it in our folder. If we save it as a Photoshop file, it will only be able to be opened by Photoshop. If I am sending a final file to someone to print or for someone to review, I might need to change the file format to another type of file such as a PDF. Right now, I am going to press Save and save the Photoshop PSD file on my desktop.
I'm on board with it.
If I need to export my file, instead of saving as a Photoshop document, I'm going to choose my File menu at the top of my screen and Export. Now I'm going to choose Export As, and this is where I need to pick my format of either a PNG, JPEG, or GIF. Most of the time, a JPEG is going to be what people ask for. So I'm going to press JPEG. I'll make sure it's high quality. And notice it's changed it back to pixels for the image size. This should be okay because we already set it as a document for print. I'm going to press Export. I have it named for my file name. I'm going to choose my folder on my desktop and save that file. Now, if we quit Photoshop, save our file, and go to our desktop, we should see the files that we just exported. Here's our Photoshop, and here's our JPEG. Here's our Photoshop, and here's our JPEG. Now what I'm going to do is put them, nope, just kidding. Now, with that exported as a JPEG and Photoshop file, find the assignment in Schoology marked Photoshop Practice 1, Shapes and Text, and submit both your JPEG and your Photoshop file.